See that kid? That's me at 7 in first grade. I know most people love first grade, but that wasn't the case for me. Let me explain. We sat in a small room at the end of the hall. There was one big square table that fit the 6 of us and one teacher. There were books neatly stacked in the center of the table and some toys to help kids focus. I sat next to the same girl every day, and she always wore a bright tank top no matter the weather. There was one window in the room. That room always seemed darker than the others, and that didn't feel like a coincidence. The 6 of us sat there, while the other kids, the ones who learned normally, sat in a big, spacious room with natural lighting, reading their assigned books. We were separate. When I got to middle school, kids began labeling us as the learning resource kids with disabilities. I knew I was different, but I didn't think this difference was good. I thought I was clinically dumb. Seriously, I actually thought a doctor told my parents I'd never be as smart as anyone else. When people asked me why I was in learning resources, I was ashamed to tell them. I was ashamed of who I was as a learner. I did everything I could to hide my difference and just be normal. At this time in my life, all I was seeing were red lights, telling me to stop, because I'd never be the best, I'd never be the smartest, I'd never be normal. You're gonna need help on that, red light. That's gonna take you twice as long to do, red light. Do you really not get good grades in school because you can't even remember a simple sequence? Red light. You really didn't finish that test in time? Red light. What kind of message does it send to a 10-year-old girl telling her she can't do something because she's different? Fortunately for me, the lights were about to change. Let me explain. As some of you might know, Wolcott is a high school for above-average kids with learning differences. When I interviewed at Wolcott High School, I had heard something I never heard before. I heard someone say I had a learning difference, not a disability. And this made me realize it wasn't something to be ashamed of and instead celebrated. I was excited to be a part of it. On the first day of school, I was outside talking to other nervous freshmen when one girl looked up at me and said, "What do you have?" I smiled at her with a confused look because I didn't know what she meant. When another girl stepped in and said, "What she means is, what's your learning difference?" I thought to myself, did she really just ask me that in front of everybody? I then said, I have slow processing and OCD. Then everybody began sharing their learning differences. I thought to myself, this is so different. Nobody cares here because it's a normal thing. It put the biggest smile on my face because I realized I wouldn't have to be different here and I wouldn't have to hide a part of myself. As the days passed, the red lights I'd been so used to seeing began turning green, and no subject was off limits. I even began enjoying school and looking forward to the classes that were the hardest. Seeing my learning difference in a positive way gave me confidence, and it helped me realize that the only person that could put limits on me is me. I was told I'd never be in the highest math or reading group. Now, I'm in honors English and math. Today, I want to change things for kids who might have similar struggles. And you can help. Just change one word. Instead of using the term learning disability, use the term learning difference. And you'll change a negative self-image to a positive one, fear to confidence, and the red lights to green. Think about it. The prefix dis, words like disability, dishonest, disagree, disappoint, what do these words bring to mind? I bet it's nothing good. That's because the Latin prefix dis means lack of or not. But ability means physical or mental power to do something. Ability's always been used in a positive way, but by putting those 3 letters in front of it, you've completely changed the meaning of the word. How demoralizing. What a message. Considering that 1/5 of America's population has a learning difference, think about how many people are affected by this word. And in 2010, 4.6 million Americans were diagnosed with a learning difference. Imagine that number if it included those individuals who remain undiagnosed. By definition, people with learning differences don't have a low cognitive ability. They simply just learn differently. In fact, they even have average or above average intelligence. In addition, learning differences are genetic, so it's not about the school you go to. And 96% of parents improperly think that the right teacher can make up for their child's learning difference. The list of successful people with learning differences includes Keanu Reeves, Anderson Cooper, Cher, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates. Even one of the most successful entrepreneurs had ADHD. In fact, Albert Einstein had ADHD and dyslexia. And in 1895, his teacher said he'd never amount to anything. Isn't it sad that in 2019, kids can hear very similar things, causing so many red lights for them? Obviously, not all people have the access to the resources I've been able to find at Wolcott. Wolcott has taught me how to use my strengths and make my weaknesses better. They've provided me with the resources and curriculum to help me succeed. But one of the biggest things they've done for me, which changed my life, was say difference and not disability. It gave me confidence, and you can do the same for others by just changing one word. Disability to difference. It might have taken me twice as long to write this speech, but I can proudly say at the age of 15 that I've officially given a TED Talk. And if I can convince even one of you to change your mind, it would have all been worth it. I'm not disabled, I'm different, and I'm proud to continue exceeding expectations. You can help others with learning differences do the same. Just change one word, and you'll change the lights from red to green. Thank you.